Hi, this is Lokesh from EC Analytics. In this video, we'll discuss first AI visual introduced by Microsoft in Power BI, which is Key Influencers. Key influencers help you to understand what factors are affecting your metric. The dataset which we are using in this is wine quality dataset. So let's open our table here, and in this you can see we have a typo here. This is actually wine quality table, and what all we have in this data? We have fixed acidity, volatile acidity, citric acid, residual sugar, and on the basis of these fields we have a quality of wine which is between 3 to 8. You can see here. So higher the value, that means that quality of wine is good, and this is what we want to analyze here. So which factors here, like sulfates, alcohol, density, free sulfur dioxide, chlorides, which factors are affecting the quality of wine? Now to analyze this, we have first AI visual here, and let's insert that from the visualization section, which is key influencers. Left click on this and you can see we have inserted blank visual. Now in the visualization section, we have analyze, we have explain by, and we have expand by, these three options here. What we want to analyze? We want to analyze the quality of wine. What influences the quality of wine? So let's drag quality in the analyze section. And you can see here one drop box where quality is on a higher side, increase, and then we have decrease also. And the statement is what influences quality of wine, and using what field you want to explain this. We want to explain this using, let's say, density. So let's drag density in the explained by, citric acid in the explained by, chlorides in the explained by, alcohol. Let's check one by one all these fields here, and fixed acidity, and then pH value, and then residual sugar. You can click on these also, check boxes one by one, and then you can see we have tracked everything in our visual. Now what is this output? Let's check this output. So let me just collapse this visualization so that we can easily read our output. Now here we have density is the first item, you can see, which is stating density is 0.99 or less. If your density is 0.99 or less, this is influencing the quality on a higher side of your wine. And by what value? If you want to read, when you hover on this, you will find that when density is 0.9 or less, the average quality of wine is 0.93 units higher than the compared to the overall average. For that, you can take reference from this visual here, where you can see we have very first column belongs to 0.9 or less. Now, if you check your overall average, which is 5.62, and your average of 0.9 or less density is 6 point something something. When you hover on this, this is 6.55. You can see here. So which is 0.9, which is 0.9 higher than the overall average. So this is one influencer we have. The second influencer is alcohol. So if alcohol is more than 11.4, so if alcohol is more than 11.4 in your data, in your wine quality, so quality is 0.86 higher than the overall average. You can see here output now more than 11.4. If we have alcohol, you can see the overall average is 5.49, and here our average of quality is 6.35. That means this is 0.86% higher than the overall average. So this is how we have volatile acidity, which is 0.67 higher, sulfates. When we have a sulfates value between 0.68 to 1.04, and citric acid is more than 0.29. So what program did here, program has executed algorithms in the background, and this program has shared with us that what factors are affecting our quality of wine, which we want to analyze, right? This is first tab. In this second tab, in top segment, program has shared with us segments here. We have three segments here. In segment 1, you can see the quality score is 6.68. Here height is your quality score, and the size of this bubble, it's number of records or data points we have in this segment. So you can see this segment is lower compared to this one, lower compared to this one, and this one is lower compared to this one. So that means we have a high data point in this segment, but quality score is 6.08. This is 6.33, and this is 6.68. So when we left click on this, you can see program has created one more visual here to explain your segment 1. And in segment 1, we have items like alcohol is greater than 11.4. When your alcohol is greater than 11.4 and sulfate is greater than 6.8 and less than or equal to 1.04. So in segment 1, we have all the data points where sulfate is between 0.68 to 1.014. and alcohol is greater than 11.4. So in this segment you can see the average quality is 6.68, which is 1.05 units higher than the overall average, and which we know that which is 5.64. So you can see overall is 5.64 and your segment 1 is 6.68. Now how many number of data points belong to this? 7.7% of data belongs to your segment 1, which is 123 data points. Similarly, we can analyze by segment 2 also. When you left click on this, and you can see here in segment 2 we have on the basis of multiple fields. One is alcohol, second is sulfate, then third is total sulfur dioxide, and then volatile acidity. In case of volatile acidity, we have it's less than or equal to 0.36. Total sulfur dioxide is less than or equal to 50. Sulfate is greater than 0.68 and less than equal to 1.04, and alcohol is less than or equal to 11.4. And you can see the output here. The average quality of this segment is 6.33, which is 0.7 units higher than the overall average, and the number of data points we have is 5.3% of the population of this segment is 84 data points we have here. Okay, and when we talk about third segment, this is 6.08, which is 0.45 units higher than the overall average, and the total data points in this segment are 157, and alcohol is greater than 11.4. In this segment we have all the data points where alcohol is greater than 11.4 and sulfate is less than or equal to 0.8 or is greater than 1.4. So this is how program has executed some algorithm, some machine learning techniques in the background, and this has created few segments here. Let's close segment, which you can see in order, and also shared with us influences. Okay, which are the top influencers, which fields are influencing our quality of wine. So this is on an increasing side. If I talk about quality of wine on a decreasing side, then again program has executed this algorithm, and then you can see the output here. If your volatile acidity is more than 0.865, then on a decrease side you can see here it's 0.85, higher than the overall average. So if your volatile acidity is 0.36 or less, that means the quality of wine is on a lesser side, it's decreased. So this one we have performed using wine quality dataset, and this is what the first visual Microsoft has introduced, key influencers. Now let's understand the same visual using another example on our sample superstore dataset. So what I do here, let me quickly open our sample superstore dataset workbook. So what I do here, let me quickly open our sample superstore dataset workbook, and here I have opened it. Now in this, let's say I want to analyze, well, my customer is a repeated customer or not. Okay, we have received only one order from the customer, or it's a repeated customer. If it's a repeated customer, what is influencing, what factors are influencing my customer to be a repeated customer? Okay, and for that what I do, let me write new column here in my customer table. So click on these three dots and write new column. And let me write this as customer type, which is where check count of orders. If we have more than one order from this customer, that means it's a repeated customer, right? And this is I want to calculate. I'm writing desk calculations here. Our expression is I want to distinct count of number of orders. So here I want to count order ID from the transaction table, and on the basis of what? On the basis of customer ID from the transaction table, right? So here we have computed and we have stored this value in a variable which is count of order. And now let's create one more variable here which is count, and what we want to return, we want to check here, okay, if count of orders by transaction ID is multiple, I want to return customer type. Okay, it's a multiple order or single order, right? And for this we write if logical formula, and which is if our count of orders value is equals to 1, that means we have received single order from this customer. Okay, we don't have multiple orders. Okay, or else it's multiple. If it's greater than 1, if it's not equal to 1, that means it's greater than 1. So we are writing this as multiple orders. And when we use variable, what we do? We use return keyword to return output of our customer type, which we have stored in this variable here. Now let's click enter. And you can see we have created new text column here, which is customer type. Now, this is what we want to analyze, everyone. If I drag it here, you can see we have single order or we have multiple order from the customers. Multiple order, that means that this customer is a repeated customer, right? So let me remove this visual from here and let's insert our key influencer here. Left click on this, insert this one, and in this inside analyze, let's drag our customer type. And what we want to analyze, what influences customer type to be multiple order, that means repeated order from this customers we have. This customer is a repeated customer, right? And that I want to analyze on the basis of, let's say, region. So I drag region in the explain by section here, and this is executed analysis here, and you can see the output. So if we have an order from Western US from this region, if we have order from here, the likelihood of customer type being multiple orders increases by 2.34 times, everyone. If your orders are from Eastern US, the likelihood of customer being repeated orders or multiple order increases by 2.04x, you can see here, and which you can see in your this graph also, where you can see very first is Western US, and when you hover on this, you will see here we have 69.39% the multiple orders, percentage of multiple orders from customers we have, and the average is 29.65%, and your 69.39% is 2.4 times of your overall average. You can also play along with this. If I just want to show the influencers here, so I don't want to show all the column, I just want to show the influencers. So these are the influencers here, and you can see this is also on the positive side. The last one, which is Central America, if you scroll down, you will find that okay, this is 1.10 times compared to the overall average. So we have computed here what, using DEX column, that customers which are on we have a repeated order from the customers, what influences that, and that from the region side is influencer is Western US. If I look for segment here, you can see very first segment, and then second segment, fourth segment this is created. Left click on first segment here, and this is from Western US. The number of data points are, if you check, are 686, and this is 69.4%, and the overall is 31.2%, and the customer type is multiple orders, and this is 38% point higher than the average. Then you can check for other segment also. This is from this region. When I left click on, this is from Western Europe, and when I left click on this is from Central America. Okay, and this is how under top segment we can see by segment. Left click on this, and let's go to influencer again. If you don't want to show for repeated customer, you want to analyze this time for single order customers. So left click on single order, and here we have analysis here. So in case of single order, we have from most of the single order from Central Asia, and the likelihood of customer type being single order increases by 1.46 times compared to the overall average when customer is from Central Asia. Okay, so this is how this very first amazing AI visual introduced by Power BI in Power BI by Microsoft, and this is very useful, everyone. Okay, and we can do so much deep analysis using this visual. In Power BI we have some other AI visual also, like Q&A, in which we use natural language. This is the first AI visual we have discussed, and the next is decomposition tree, which we will cover in our future videos.